Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. We love to take those deep dives into the research you send our way, and today is no different. Today, we're looking at all things small business.
Always a good topic.
Absolutely, and we're focusing on how they can make a splash using digital innovation and sustainability.
Right.
You sent over an episode of the Experience Talks podcast, and, well, let's just say their first episode is jam-packed with insights.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
So we'll be talking practical digital tools, sustainability even on a small business budget, and the power of purpose. I think our listeners are going to get a lot out of this one.
Yeah, I think this one will really get people thinking differently about how small businesses can compete, even on like a global scale.
Okay, so the first thing that jumped out at me from the episode was just how huge the small business world is. Over 90% of companies globally are small businesses.
That's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
It is. I mean, it means you're in great company as a small business owner, but also means there's a lot of competition.
Yeah, for sure. But the episode frames it more as an opportunity than a challenge.
Right. What do you think about that?
Well, the episode talks about these challenges small businesses face: access to technology, resources for sustainability, competing with those big brands. But instead of seeing them as like insurmountable obstacles, they're framed as opportunities for innovation. You know?
It's almost like that classic David and Goliath story, right?
Exactly.
But in the real world, how does a small business even begin to level the playing field?
Well, that's where the digital world comes in.
Right.
Even if you have a limited budget, you can use technology to boost your visibility and make everything more efficient.
Mm.
And it's not just a nice to have anymore.
Right.
This episode makes a really bold statement. It says, digital innovation is essential for survival.
Whoa.
Like, think about what that means for your business.
Mm.
Are you keeping up?
That really puts things into perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So what exactly are these digital tools that can help small businesses not just survive, but thrive? The episode lists quite a few, and I'm excited to hear your take on them.
Okay, so they cover a really good range of needs, from project management to social media. So, for example, with project management tools like Trello or Asana, your entire team can stay organized and on track, even if everyone's working remotely.
Those are popular ones.
Yeah. Have you considered using tools like these?
I've dabbled with Trello a bit,
Okay.
but I haven't fully integrated it into my workflow. Hearing it mentioned in the episode makes me think I need to revisit that. What about for things like design and marketing?
Well, for that, there's Canva.
Yeah.
Even without a design background, you can create professional-looking visuals for your marketing materials, social media posts, all of that. It's incredibly empowering. What stands out to you about these tools?
I think the accessibility factor is huge.
Yeah.
Especially Canva. It's been a game changer for so many small businesses I know.
Right.
It allows them to have that polished image without needing to spend a ton of money.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what this episode is highlighting, how you can achieve big results even with limited resources. And then there's automation tools like ManyChat and Zapier.
Okay.
They can handle repetitive tasks like answering those FAQs or sending follow-up emails.
So you're working smarter, not harder?
Exactly.
That's great because as a business owner, you need every spare minute you can get.
Oh, for sure. There's always a million things to do.
Right. So I can see how that would free up so much time and mental energy for you, allowing you to focus on the bigger picture.
Yeah.
What about for managing social media? Always such a big one for businesses.
Right. This episode recommends tools like Buffer or Hootsuite, so you can schedule posts in advance, track performance, and engage with your audience.
They actually shared a case study about a clothing store that doubled their sales in just 3 months by using these tools.
It's amazing.
Can you imagine what that kind of growth could do for your business?
I think what's really impressive about that example is that it wasn't just the growth itself, but the fact that it was achieved through a combination of tools and tactics that are accessible to anyone.
Yeah, anyone can do this. Okay, so we've talked about the importance of digital transformation, some of the tools that can help. But I want to move on to something that's often seen as a separate issue, sustainability.
Okay.
But it's actually deeply intertwined with everything we've been discussing. What's the episode's take on that?
The episode really tackles this misconception head on, the one about going green being only for those big businesses with tons of money. It really drives home the point that sustainability, it's not just a good deed, it's a smart business move, especially for small businesses.
I think that's super important to emphasize because there's this perception that it has to be expensive or complicated, something that's out of reach if you're a smaller company.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is that it's an opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. The Episode highlights this shift in what customers want.
Mhm.
They're actively seeking out sustainable brands and are willing to pay more for products and services that are aligned with their values. Have you noticed this in your own industry?
Oh, absolutely. Customers are way more discerning now than they used to be.
Yeah.
They want to know that the businesses they support are doing their part. So how can a small business even begin to incorporate sustainability without getting totally overwhelmed?
Right. Well, the episode gives 3 simple steps.
Okay.
Reduce paper usage, reuse materials, and work with ethical suppliers. And these might seem like small changes, but they can have a huge impact. What are your thoughts on those?
I mean, they seem pretty straightforward and manageable, even for like a small team.
Yeah,
I'm really intrigued by the idea of reusing materials. I think there's a lot of potential there to be creative and resourceful.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And it's about finding those innovative solutions that are good for the planet and your bottom line.
exactly. It's a win-win.
And they also talk about the importance of working with ethical suppliers.
Mhm.
It's about going beyond just the price tag and considering the values and practices of the companies you work with.
So you're aligning your business with suppliers who are also committed to sustainability.
Exactly.
I can see how that would really make you stand out.
It's all about building that sustainable ecosystem,
Yeah.
internally and externally.
Mm,
And the benefits, they go way beyond just feeling good about your choices.
right.
The episode actually cites studies that show sustainable businesses save money in the long run.
Interesting.
They have a stronger brand image and more loyal customers.
Do you remember that stat they shared? Something like 70% of consumers are willing to pay more for sustainable products.
Yeah, that one really stuck with me too.
I mean, that's huge. It's not just a trend, it's a massive shift.
Right, and for small businesses, that's a huge opportunity to connect with those customers who are driven by values, and build a brand that means something.
Yeah, one that stands for something more than just profit.
Exactly.
I love that. It's about creating a business that reflects the world you want to see. But with all this talk about technology and sustainability, what about the human side of things?
Right.
Why is that so important?
I think it's easy to get caught up in the tools and strategies,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
But behind all of that is a human heart
Mm.
at the core of every business.
Yeah.
And that's what connects us to our customers, our employees, our community.
That's about building those genuine relationships.
Right. Not just transactions.
Right.
The episode really emphasizes the importance of purpose.
Uh-huh.
It argues that purpose is the fuel that drives everything.
Yeah.
If you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, all the tools and sustainability stuff, it kind of loses its impact.
Yeah, it becomes just another to-do list item instead of something that motivates you.
Exactly. And having a purpose attracts those customers who connect with your mission.
Right.
It inspires your employees to do more.
Mm-hmm.
Creates a ripple effect of positive change.
Did you find that example they gave about Experience Lab Solutions inspiring?
Oh, definitely.
Their mission is to make sure everyone has access to digital solutions and promote inclusion. And it just seems like their purpose is part of everything they do.
It's not just a slogan for them.
Yeah.
It drives their products, their marketing, even their hiring. Do you see any parallels between that and your own business?
What I find really inspiring about their story is that a purpose-driven approach, it can transform not just a single business, but an entire industry. And it shows that small businesses have the power to make a real difference.
Absolutely. It's recognizing that business can be a force for good, not just a means to an end.
But how do you actually do that? How do you translate that into action?
Well, they encourage you to start by asking yourself some basic questions like,
Okay.
what problem are you solving? What impact do you want to have on your customers and your community and the world?
Those are such great questions to think about.
Yeah, it's about finding your why.
So once you have that clarity, how do you actually put it into action?
Well, they suggest taking a look at what you're already doing. You know what's working, where are the opportunities to do better, and how can you align your actions with your purpose?
Like finding those areas where you can make a real difference. Could you use technology to reduce your environmental impact?
Exactly. Or could you source your materials from suppliers who share your values?
Or even just donate some of your profits to a cause you believe in?
It's about finding those creative solutions that connect your purpose to everything you do. And it doesn't have to be overwhelming.
That's good to hear.
You don't have to do it all at once.
Right. It's about taking those small steps
Yeah.
that align with your goals and resources. What else did they say?
They encourage experimentation, being willing to try things and see what works.
And don't be afraid to fail.
Exactly. Because sometimes those quote-unquote failures, they teach you a lot
Right.
and can lead to even better ideas.
Okay, so to wrap things up, let's talk about the financial side. How does embracing all of this benefit a small business's bottom line?
The episode really dives into the financial benefits, and it's cool because it's not just about saving money. It's about finding new opportunities.
Yeah.
Like using those digital tools can really make things run smoother.
So if you're more efficient, you're saving money on all sorts of things.
Exactly. And then you can take those savings and reinvest them in other parts of your business.
Oh, right, like your marketing.
Right. Or developing new products.
Yeah.
And there's also the money you save by reducing waste through sustainable practices.
So you're helping the planet and your bottom line.
That's so very.
Win-win.
What about your reputation as a business? Does that really make a difference?
It really does. The episode talks about how sustainability is becoming a major way for brands to stand out.
Uh-huh.
Customers want to buy from businesses that share their values, and they'll even pay more for that.
So a commitment to sustainability can bring in new customers and increase sales.
It's not just about new customers either. It's about the ones you already have.
Oh, right.
When people feel good about the brands they support, they're more likely to stick around. That's so true. Like, I'm way more likely to recommend a business to friends and family if I know they're trying to do good.
Right.
But let's be real for a second. Not every business decision can be about ethics or saving the planet. Sometimes you have to make tough choices that might prioritize profit over purpose. How do you reconcile those two things?
That's a really good point. It's not always easy to find the right balance,
Yeah.
but I think what's important is that you're actually thinking about those things when you make decisions.
Right.
The episode talks about looking at the long-term impact of your choices. Like, will a short-term gain end up hurting your values and your relationship with your customers?
That's a great question. It's about making choices you can be proud of,
Exactly.
both ethically and financially.
Right. But how do you know if you're on the right track? How do you measure your progress?
Good question.
That's where data comes in.
Yeah.
Keeping track of what's working and what's not. The episode talks about the importance of actually measuring things and making adjustments as you go.
So it's not just about doing good. It's about doing it well.
Exactly. And then being honest with your customers about your efforts and the impact you're making.
Mm-hmm.
People appreciate honesty, even if you're not perfect.
I think that's a really important takeaway. It's not about pretending to have all the answers.
Right.
It's about being open to learning and growing.
Yeah, for sure. But this whole journey can feel pretty overwhelming sometimes. Any advice for those who are just starting out?
Yeah. What do you suggest?
Don't be afraid to ask for help. There are so many resources out there for small businesses.
That's true.
Government programs, industry groups, online communities. You don't have to figure it all out on your own.
And what about the role of technology in all of this? It can be a solution, but it can also be a problem sometimes.
Right. Technology is just a tool.
Yeah.
Like any tool, it can be used in good ways and bad ways. The episode really pushes you to think about the technology you use and how you use it.
So use it wisely.
Exactly.
All right. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you hope our listeners will take away from all of this?
If there's just one thing I want you to remember, it's that small businesses can make a real difference in the world.
That's powerful.
By using technology, sustainability, and purpose, you can create a business that not only succeeds, but also makes a positive impact.
Love it. So what's your next step? What one action can you take today to bring more innovation, sustainability, or purpose into your business?
Think about that.
Maybe try out a new digital tool or look into sustainable suppliers or just take some time to reflect on your values. Every journey starts with a single step.
And remember, you're not alone in this. There are tons of other businesses out there doing the same thing.
Awesome. That's it for this episode of The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us as we explored how small businesses can truly make a difference. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the world of ideas that matter.